I added Andretti Cadillac to F1 2023, put all the settings to automatic and simulated 10 seasons. How good will Andretti Cadillac do in Formula 1? Stay tuned to find out. My name is Chris, welcome back to CF Racing, and enjoy the video. Hello everybody, what's going on? Chris here, otherwise known as CF Racing, and in the news recently, I have actually seen a little bit of reports saying Andretti Cadillac are going to be the next team entering the real-world Formula 1, and I'm super excited for this because I would love to see Andretti in Formula 1. I think we need 11, if not 12 teams in the sport, so if we can get Andretti in Formula 1, that would be absolutely amazing, and I'd simply love that. And plus, Andretti, full American team, Cadillac, full American car company. It would be great for the sport, and once again, we need 11 teams, we need 22 drivers, and honestly, I would love 12 teams. That would be fantastic. So today, guys, this is Andretti, and the main driver I chose for all 10 years for the simulation is actually going to be Daniel Ricciardo. Yes, I could have chosen like Pato O'Ward or like Colton Herta or Alex Palou or something, or Palou, I think I said that right, or something like that. I could have picked a driver like that, but I feel like Andretti, with the American links that they have, would love the most popular, in quotation marks, driver in America, Daniel Ricciardo. So I have Daniel Ricciardo as the driver for all 10 seasons for Andretti. If you guys want to dispute that in the comments section, just do it. I'm sorry, I did Paris in the last Andretti video and you guys didn't like it. So yeah, I'm doing Daniel Ricciardo on this one. But with that being said, this video is also going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be adding a little bit of background gameplay footage, which a lot of you guys have been asking because sometimes the stat screen is just plain and boring. So yeah, I got some gameplay footage if it's a close title fight, so enjoy that. That being said, hit that like button, subscribe, share with your friends, join the Discord, links in the description down below. And yeah, guys, enjoy the simulation. In 2023, it comes to no surprise, but Max Verstappen came out on top as he takes 9 wins on the year, 324 points to finish P1, with Sergio Perez in P2, not even close, 225 points, and finished P2. Charles Leclerc finishes P3 with 3 wins, 219 points. Hamilton was in 4th with 1 win, scoring 215 points. Carlos Sainz took 1 win, 204 points. George Russell took 1 win, 133 points. Daniel Ricciardo scored 3 points to finish P15. Looks like the bottom half of the grid was not very competitive this year. And Felipe Drugovich in his rookie Formula 1 season scored 0 points and finished P20. We actually had some mid-season driver transfers. So Red Bull won the Constructors' Championship, no surprise there, with Ferrari P2, Mercedes P3, Aston Martin P4, McLaren P5, Alpine P6, Alfa Romeo P7, Haas P8, Andretti P9, Williams P10, and AlphaTauri in dead last. We actually had some driver transfers, and this is a really dumb one. We have Zhou going to Mercedes, and George Russell went to Alfa Romeo mid-season. I can't even speak, that's how dumb this is. And at the end of the year, unfortunately, Fernando Alonso retires from Formula 1. That moves Alexander Albon to Aston Martin. Kevin Magnussen goes to Williams. Oscar Piastri goes to Haas. Nico Hülkenberg goes to McLaren. Felipe Drugovich leaves Andretti. He goes to Haas. Logan Sargent, it is the American driver in the American team. He's going to Andretti. No surprise there. Liam Lawson goes to Mercedes, and that moves Zhou Guanyu to Williams. And at the end of the year, going into 2024, there is a regulation change to the power department. T24, Max Verstappen has come out on top once again as he takes 6 wins on the year, 391 points to finish P1. Lewis Hamilton takes 6 wins, 272 points to finish P2. Once again, Max Verstappen dominated. Charles Leclerc takes 3 wins, 213 points to finish P3. Sergio Perez takes 181 points to finish P4. He was so bad this year. Sainz scores 169 nice points to finish P5. Albon actually takes 1 win in the Aston Martin, 125 points to finish P6. Daniel Ricciardo and Logan Sargent both score 0 points. One finished P20 and the other one finished P22. Not a very good season for Andretti. Red Bull finished in the top of the Constructors' Championship, and they win their 2nd in a row with Ferrari P2. I can't speak today. Mercedes P3, Aston Martin P4, Alfa Romeo move up to P5. Great job for them. Alpine P6, McLaren P7, Haas P8, Williams P9, Andretti P10, and AlphaTauri in dead last. In the driver transfer market, Lewis Hamilton decides to retire. That moves Oscar Piastri to Mercedes. A lot of you Australians and McLaren fans are going to like that one. Yuki Tsunoda goes to Haas. Sergio Perez goes to AlphaTauri. Charles Leclerc partners Max Verstappen at Red Bull, so like they're not going to lose another constructors title. George Russell replaces Charles Leclerc at Ferrari. Nico Hülkenberg goes to Alfa Romeo. Felipe Drugovich goes to McLaren. Liam Lawson goes to Haas, and Théo Pourchaire enters Formula One as a rookie and goes straight into that Mercedes seat. Heading into 2025, there is no regulation change. In Season 3, this one really surprised me, and we had Charles Leclerc winning his first ever World Drivers' Championship for Red Bull as he takes 6 wins, 274 points, and finished P1. Albon takes 5 wins, 274 points, and finished P2. The reason Charles Leclerc won the championship is because he had 6 wins over Albon's 5. They were tied on points. What a championship we had. Max Verstappen only scored 230 points, finished P3, and also had 3 wins. Still a good season for Max, but I thought he would have been much better. Russell finished P4 with 150 points and 1 win. Sainz 135 points to finish P5. Lando Norris 109 points to finish P6. Pierre Gasly 1 win, 100 points to finish P7. Daniel Ricciardo and Logan Sargent both scored 0 points. One was P20, the other one was P22. Red Bull win their 3rd consecutive constructors title. I'd hope so with Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen as their drivers, with Aston Martin P2 really being carried by Albon, Ferrari P3, McLaren P4, Alpine P5, Mercedes P6, Alfa Romeo P7, Haas P8, AlphaTauri P9, Williams P10, and Andretti in dead last. In the driver transfer market, that we actually have mid-season transfers here, with Théo Pourchaire going to Haas and Liam Lawson going to Mercedes. I guess Liam Lawson loves a good mid-season driver transfer. At the end of the year, Charles Leclerc leaves Red Bull. He goes to Mercedes. What the heck, Charles? What are you doing? Felipe Drugovich goes to Red Bull to partner Max Verstappen and replace Charles Leclerc. Dennis Hauger goes to McLaren, and Oscar Piastri has ended up as a free agent. Did not expect that to happen. But going into 2025, we got a major regulation change to aero, chassis, and power. Those are all the performance departments, so that's going to be a big change going into 2025. In 2026, it actually is supposed to be 2026. I messed up the graphic last time when I said 2025. In 2026, Alexander Albon actually came out on top this year, scoring 3 wins, 260 points to finish P1 in a great title fight with Max Verstappen. Verstappen had 6 wins, 258 points, and finished P2. Seems like that Aston Martin has the better car, but it looks like Red Bull's got the better drivers. Drugovich scores 3 wins in his first season on Red Bull. Great job for him. 205 points to finish P3. George Russell takes 2 wins, 163 points to finish P4. Gasly scores 1 win, 152 points to finish P5. Magnussen takes 1 win, 135 points to finish P6. Ricciardo and Sargent both were at the back of the field, 0 points, P21 and P22. Not very impressive for Andretti. Red Bull win their 4th consecutive constructors title, followed by Aston Martin, Ferrari in P3, Alpine P4, Williams P5, good for them. McLaren P6, Mercedes dropped down to P7. I can't believe Charles Leclerc went there. Then we have Alfa Romeo P8, AlphaTauri P9, Haas P10, and Andretti in dead last. We got another mid-season transfer here. For some reason, Oscar Piastri goes back to McLaren, and Dennis Hauger ends up as a free agent. I guess McLaren realized they should never have gotten rid of Piastri. At the end of the season, Nico Hülkenberg retires from Formula One. Dennis Hauger comes out of free agency to go to AlphaTauri. Lance Stroll goes to Andretti. Kevin Magnussen goes to Aston Martin. Alexander Albon goes to Williams. Zhou Guanyu goes to Aston Martin, and Logan Sargent goes back to Williams. And heading into 2027, there is no regulation change. In 2027, this is a funky one. We got Zhou Guanyu winning his first ever World Drivers' Championship as he takes 4 wins on the year, 227 points to finish P1. George Russell scores 4 wins, 212 points to finish P2. Max Verstappen takes 2 wins, 189 points to finish P3. Kevin Magnussen takes 1 win, 185 points to finish P4. Oscar Piastri takes 3 wins, 179 points to finish P5. Lando Norris takes 1 win, 167 points to finish P6. And we got Ricciardo and Stroll, 0 points, P21 and P22. That Andretti car is bad. Aston Martin, though, win their first ever Constructors' Championship, followed by Ferrari P2, McLaren P3. Red Bull actually dropped down to P4, which is a little bit surprising. Mercedes finished P5, followed by Alpine P6, Williams P7, Alfa Romeo P8, Haas P9, AlphaTauri P10, and Andretti in dead last. Unfortunately, there were no driver transfers going into 2028, but there is a regulation change to the power departments. In 2028, Carlos Sainz has broken the curse for Ferrari as he wins their first World Drivers' Championship since 2007. I was about to say 8, but that was a Constructors' Championship. Sainz takes 3 wins, 216 points to finish P1. Kevin Magnussen scores 5 points, 211. Kevin Magnussen scores 5 wins, 211 points to finish P2. George Russell takes 3 wins, 207 points to finish P3. Zhou takes 1 win, 196 points to finish P4. Piastri 2 wins, 187 points to finish P5. Lando Norris 141 points to finish P6, and he got 1 win. Max Verstappen 1 win, 106 points to finish P7. And Charles Leclerc 1 win, 86 points to finish P8. 8 different winners in a 16 race season. That's what I call competition. I like that. Daniel Ricciardo scored 0 points to finish P20, and Lance Stroll scored 0 points to finish P21. Ferrari win their first Constructors title since 2008, followed by Aston Martin P2, McLaren P3, Red Bull P4, Mercedes P5, Alpine P6, Alfa Romeo P7, Williams P8, Haas P9, AlphaTauri P10, and Andretti in dead last. In the driver transfer market, Sergio Perez retires from Formula 1. That moves Jack Doohan to AlphaTauri. Bottas retires, and that moves Frederick Vesti to Alfa Romeo. And going into 2029, there is a regulation change to the aero and chassis departments. In 2027, George Russell is now on top of the Formula 1 world, also with Ferrari. Looks like they finally made a good car for the first time in like forever. Russell takes 5 wins on the year, 275 points to finish P1. Gasly scores 2 points, 2 wins, 217 points to finish P2. Sainz had 1 win at 212 points to finish P3. That's more like it. I didn't expect Sainz to be really that good in the simulation. Magnussen scores 2 wins, 178 points to finish P4. Vesti 2 wins, 176 to finish P5. Dennis Hauger 2 wins, 175 points to finish P6. Zhou Guanyu 148 points to finish P7. Esteban Ocon 1 win, 115 points to finish P8. Lance Stroll 0 points to finish P21. And Daniel Ricciardo 0 points to finish P22. I can't believe how bad Andretti's doing. This is all automatic, by the way. This is the game screwing Andretti over right now. Ferrari win their second consecutive Constructors title, followed by Alfa Romeo in P2 with Vesti and Hauger. If they didn't have Vesti and Hauger as those drivers, honestly, I think Alfa Romeo would have won both titles. That's kind of crazy. Alpine finished P3, followed by Aston Martin P4, Red Bull P5, McLaren P6, Haas P7, Williams P8, Mercedes P9. What a terrible season from them. AlphaTauri P10, and Andretti in dead last. Here we go. We got some crazy driver transfers here with Kevin Magnussen retiring, starting it all off. That moves Théo Pourchaire to Aston Martin. Max Verstappen goes to Mercedes. Alexander Albon, I spelled his name wrong, to Red Bull. Charles Leclerc goes to Red Bull. Charles Leclerc goes to Williams, Frederick Vesti goes to Mercedes, Liam Lawson goes to Alfa Romeo, Logan Sargent goes to AlphaTauri, Ayumu Iwasa goes to Williams, and Nick DeVries goes to Haas. And going into 2030, there is no regulation change. In 2030, Red Bull is back on top again, and so is Alexander Albon winning his second driver's title of the simulation. You love to see it, as he takes 4 wins, 225 points to finish P1. Max Verstappen takes 4 wins, 209 points to finish P2. Felipe Drugovich takes 4 wins, 204 points to finish P3. What a title fight we had, by the way. George Russell takes 1 win, 176 points to finish P4. Théo Pourchaire takes 137 points to finish P5. Sainz scores 133 to finish P6. Norris had 1 win, 130 points to finish P7. Dennis Hauger had 1 win, 63 points, finished P8. Ricciardo had 0 points to finish P9, and Kobayashi had 0 points to finish P20, as there was a mid-season driver transfer, as I'll mention later. Red Bull win their 5th Constructors title of the simulation, followed by Ferrari P2, McLaren P3, Mercedes P4, Alfa Romeo P5, Aston Martin P6, Williams P7, Alpine P8, Andretti move up 2 spots. They are not in last, they are in P9, AlphaTauri P10, and let's, guys, say it all together, Haas in dead last. Mid-season driver transfer, we had Kobayashi going to Andretti. He is one of the legendary drivers in the Formula 1 game. That moves Stroll to Mercedes and Vesti to free agency. And at the end of the year, Vesti goes to Andretti and Kobayashi goes to free agency. Nice. At the end of the season, there is a regulation change to power and durability heading into 2031. In 2031, Max Verstappen wins his third driver's title of the simulation, driving for Mercedes, guys. You guys are going to like this one, as he takes 9 wins on the year, 343 points to finish P1. Drugovich takes 4 wins, 220 points to finish P2. Albon scores 136 to finish P3. Awasa scores 130 to finish P4. Charles Leclerc takes 1 win, 124 points to finish P5. George Russell takes a win, 115 points to finish P6. Sainz takes a win, 114 points to finish P7. And Frederick Vesti scores 14 points to finish P14, and Daniel Ricciardo scores 0 points to finish P20. Mercedes win their first constructors title of the simulation, followed by Red Bull P2, Williams P3, Ferrari P4. Good season for Williams, by the way. McLaren at P5, Alfa Romeo P6, Aston Martin P7, Andretti P8, Alpine P9, AlphaTauri P10, and Haas in dead last. All is healed with the world when Haas is in dead last. At the end of the year, Alexander Albon retires, Yuki Tsunoda goes to Red Bull, Jack Doohan goes to Haas, Yuri Vips goes to AlphaTauri, and I spelled it wrong, Nick DeVries retires, and Callum Williams goes to Haas. One time Callum Williams actually went to Williams, and it was very confusing. At the end of the year, there is no regulation change heading into the final season of 2032. And in 2032, Max Verstappen becomes a 4-time World Drivers' Champion in this simulation, as he takes 8 wins, 287 points to finish P1. He's just so good. Felipe Drugovich takes 4 wins, 207 points to finish P2. George Russell takes 2 wins, 187 points to finish P3. Yuki Tsunoda takes 137 points to finish P4. Hauger takes 1 win, 130 points to finish P5. Vesti scores 130 points for that Andretti team to finish P6. And Daniel Ricciardo scores 30 points to finish P15 for Andretti. This was actually their best season. Good job, Andretti. At the end of the year, Red Bull win their 5th Constructors title, followed by Mercedes P2, Ferrari P3. Alfa Romeo actually stayed up in the P4 spot. McLaren at P5, Williams P6, Andretti, best spot ever for them, P7. Aston Martin P8, AlphaTauri, Alpine P9, AlphaTauri P10, and Haas ends off in dead last. So guys, we're going to take a look at the final stats for all 10 seasons. And at the end of all 10 years, this is what the final stats look like. Red Bull won 6 Constructors titles, followed by Ferrari with 2. Aston Martin had 1, and Mercedes also had 1. Verstappen won 4 World Drivers' Championships in the 10 years. Albon had 2. Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, George Russell, and Zhou Guanyu all had 1 World Drivers' Championship. In terms of wins, it was actually pretty close this time. Verstappen had 38, no surprise, he had 4 championships. Russell had 18, Charles Leclerc had 14. Drugovich actually was pretty good with 14 wins. Albon had 13, Kevin Magnussen had 9 wins. Hamilton had 7, Sainz had 6, Zhou had 5, Piastri had 5, Gasly had 4, Dennis Hauger had 4, Norris had 3, Perez had 2, and Frederick Vesti had 2 wins. So guys, that is going to wrap it up for today's Andretti Cadillac simulation video. If you guys did enjoy and you want to see more simulations like this, hit that like button, subscribe, share with your friends, join the Discord. I'm doing a Carlos Sainz hat giveaway just because he won the Singapore Grand Prix today. And with that being said, the giveaway will end at the end of September. And with that being said, see you guys next time.